I'm Angelo. I'm a software engineer. I work at Coinbase. I've been for quite a few years. My background is kind of a mix of software engineering, system engineering, Linux admin. I've been a big fan of Linux and in general systems for many years, since I was a teenager. Well, I have been on call for many years now, but I remember maybe one of the early years when one of the first companies worked on. I was working at PlayStation actually at the time, more than 10 years ago. And I was, I was paged, it was maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m. while I was sleeping. And we ended up spending the whole night trying to figure out, all morning, just trying to figure out what it was. The whole system, the whole internet went down basically, and no one knew why until we figured out it was a bug in the kernel, in the Linux kernel, while handling the leap second that happens from time to time. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of leap second, but it was something that completely messed up the kernel. And then we all figured out, I mean, the internet really went down for many hours. So it was kind of fun to be in that moment. Everyone has their own experience, of course. Everyone starts as a skeptic at the beginning, and the only difference is when you start not being a skeptic anymore, right? And for me, that was maybe 2 years ago or so. I first, when I saw these new technologies, I thought, no, it's not possible, and it's no, it's not gonna do it. And then at some point, I had the realization that yeah, actually, there's a potential, there's a future, and I'm curious now. I want to know more, and so I mean, especially in the last year, I've been exploring any of these AI tools, and I realized that there's a lot of value in them, a lot of future. I use many of the well-known tools, both for work and for personal projects for fun. I I'm very excited about the fact that I can create something very quickly. That's something that anybody can do. But creating code, writing code, is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do. Right? There's so many still unexplored areas, like fix the code, for example. That's one that someone else has written, or fix something that it's misbehaving in production, or improve the quality, or adding tests, or resolving things that you do manually or you used to do manually, and a machine can take for us. It can make our lives easier in many ways. So what I'm seeing is that you need to be very specific. You need to give very specific instructions. So the more lazy you are at the beginning with the description of what you get, the more time you will have to spend later to fix or change what you get, right? And so you kind of have to learn how to speak to AI. And anyway, you will have to review very thoroughly what you get in output. I think maybe a big mistake that some people will make is that they will just trust what they see from the AI, and that's risky, unless you're doing just single use software, some script I'm running today, and then I'm going to throw it away and don't really care about the quality. That's fine. But from something that is generated from the AI to something that can run in production, there's a big gap still that is still not covered, and there's humans have a big role in that still.
Why is that the case? If you don't mind explaining, maybe an example or like.
Because the code that AI generates might be, for example, too much code. It might be too verbose. It might be more than you actually need. And in reality, the less code, the better, right? It's if you have less code, you also have less chance of having bugs, or it's going to be easier to read. I think, yeah. Speaking of reading, one ability that people are going to develop more is to be able to read and review code more than writing, right? And that's a very important skill that we need, I think, more than ever. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest, but I can say that I use it for other aspects, like learning some new code base that I've never worked on. Like help me understand what this thing does. I can see it. What you mean, like an engineering manager, maybe who doesn't have um, hands-on experience exactly on that particular piece of code, can easily gain some knowledge, or some new engineer who maybe doesn't understand some specific things. It can get a lot of help with AI from AI, so that can be a big accelerator for lots of use cases. Yeah, hallucinations. Sometimes I asked something, but the model kind of understands some other question that is similar, and it gives me kind of a parallel answer, and then I have to, um, I have to say, no, actually, this is what I mean. Um, Eventually, the model understands. Um, some other disappointment, I don't know. Mm, I'm thinking potentially you can have security bugs uh, in code that is generated because it has been trained on samples that were not maybe that good. And I wouldn't say it's like a fault. It's not like the model intentionally tries to make you to give you bad code, but it's very important how they have been trained. Like, are the sources actually good? And it learns from open source code mostly. Open source code contains bugs too. So one of my concerns is that there will be actually more vulnerabilities in the future. Um, and maybe for the security industry, this is a big concern, but also a big business opportunity. Yeah, in production, I on a production system, there's still a gap. As an engineer, I would like to know more information, more of the relevant information right now, what's going on, especially during an incident. And that's it's something that Resolve AI is trying to resolve, right? So I'm hopeful that this can be resolved. It's different matter to analyze a static piece of code, right? Or even disassemble a binary, or do something that it's not under um, pressure, under stress. I have to resolve the problem now. But putting your hands on a production system where it's not behaving as it's supposed to, and you have limited time to solve it. It's a different um, scenario where machines could be potentially very useful, but I still haven't seen that. Yeah, good question. I would look at the past, outages, the past data that an organization has, and try to learn from that. I think companies have a lot of a lot of really good data that is not harnessed well enough, right? And from there, I could understand maybe what are the things, what are the gaps, the things that are missing when there's an incident and you want to know what is going on. Uh, for example, I mean, one of the one of the small AI tools we have that I have built actually is something that summarizes the status of an incident, and it tells you what is going on. It's not perfect. Sometimes it hallucinates, right? But that's one starting point. It doesn't really diagnose the problem. It just tells you summary of the conversation. I wish I knew the answer to this question, because I really haven't used AI systems that help you in the moment of need in production. I I'm looking forward to using them, to be honest. I can only tell you what I think it might happen. What I think that an AI tool might get fixated with some specific problem that is actually not a real problem. It might give you false alarms. It might, I don't know, wake people up in the morning for no reason, or mislead investigations and make you waste time if you're not careful. So I think the high signal is a very important feature, right? Maybe it's better not to say anything if you're not sure, right? Instead of giving something that is not true.